Alright, so I'm going to be showing how to open up and disassemble this HP. This is an HP Envy x360 Convertible model 15-ee1093cl. It's super tiny, but 15-ee1093cl. Alright, anyways, first thing we gotta do is remove the little rubber feet here. I just use my fingernail. You can use like a little flathead screwdriver or a plastic tool, whatever works to help you get that out. Alright, we're going to carefully peel this up. Okay, make sure you're peeling the adhesive as well, not just the rubber strip. And then we're going to set this aside. Okay, you want to also check underneath here. I think there's probably 2 screws under here because there's only 1 down there. So let's see here. Yep, there's 1 here. And I'm going to just leave that rubber piece here. I'm just going to peel up enough to take out the screw. You want to keep the screws in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths. The way I do that is I put them flat side down like that on my desk in the pattern I remove them. These are PH1 or JIS1 screws, and then there's a T5 or Torx 5 screw here. Okay, so make sure to peel those up. Let's go ahead and peel this. Again, make sure that you're also peeling the adhesive. It's best to pull the adhesive. Don't pull on the rubber piece, because if you pull on the rubber, you're going to stretch it out, all right? And then it's going to be really hard to get it back into place. Okay? All right, there we go. If this video helps you out, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And if it helps you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Alright, so let's go ahead and continue removing all these screws. Again, you want to keep them in order. Okay. Oh, I'm getting a call. I might have to answer that real quick. Alright, we're going to switch on over to the T5 or Torx 5 screwdriver bit now. Okay, we'll get that one out. Just like that. I'm going to have to answer the call after this. There we go. Now we got to get the bottom cover off. So since there's more screws back here, most likely it's going to be easier to pull up from this side, but let's see. Sometimes HPs are weird and you got to kind of work it from the side a bit. So let's see. Okay. Also, if you want to know, this one has a broken hinge, and that's why we're working on this. The screen needs to be replaced. Usually, on most laptops, I would work on it like this, but you can see it doesn't want to come out. So, let's see if we can somehow get the side using a suction cup. Alright, suction cups tend to work really well for these, but let's see, every model is slightly different, so nope, looks like that's not working with this one. Okay, so let's see. This one's going to be tricky, isn't it? I'm going to pull up from here with my fingernails, and I'm going to try and get my other fingernail in the gap back here if I can. Doesn't seem to want to work. Wow, this one's not going to be easy, is it? Okay, it looks like even pulling up on this isn't having any effect to separate the case. This one, I'm probably going to have to use a metal pry tool. Man, why does HP do this? Okay. Let's see here. Let's try one more time with the side. I'm going to turn it this way and see if I can move it at all. No. Nope. Nothing wants to move at all. The casing is very solid. It doesn't want to move. Okay. Let's see. Looks like if I twist the whole casing, it moves a tiny bit sideways, but not much. So, okay. So I can see if I pull on this, it creates a tiny gap here, so I'm probably going to have to use my thin metal pry tool to get in there. Okay, be very careful with this. You don't want to damage something getting tools in there, so you just barely get the tool in. Okay, and you can see that popped. So we're going to work our way. Again, I'm not really sliding the tool in much. I'm just slightly kind of getting in there, but that seems to not really want to work either. We did get this side up slightly, so let's see if we can get onto this side now. Okay, try and pull up, and there we go. Okay, and there we go. Again, be very careful not to, you don't want the tool going all the way in there. Okay, but that did work. You can see we got this. Okay, so now I'm going to pull on this and push down with my thumb, and you can see there's a gap forming here. Okay, so I'm going to pull, oh, this seems to be part of the motherboard. It's not coming up with the thing. Okay, so we're going along the side, and as you can see, the side definitely comes up easier. So now we're going to go in here. Let's try and go on this side now. So same thing, try and pull up on here. Okay, get this thin metal tool in there, just barely. Okay, you don't want to stick this tool too far, you don't want to damage anything. And then we'll go over here, and then now that we got all this out, let's see if we can get the side here. Same thing. Okay, pull up and then push down here on the hinge, and I'm gonna just run my fingernail in there, and you can see that's popping out. Okay, so there we go. Seems the middle is clipped in somehow. So while you're kind of pulling this, we're gonna want to try and flex the middle portion up so that way it bows out like that and pulls the clips back. Okay, so let's see here. Nope, doesn't seem to want to work. So whatever's clipping in the middle, these clips are very strong. So you want to be careful with this. Let's see if I can get this tool in there. Okay. And wow, it's really strong. It doesn't want to come out at all. Let's see. We got most of this up. Sometimes there's a clip here that if you push on it while pulling this up, it will pop that out. But no, nothing wants to come out there. Something is really strong in the middle here, holding it down. Let's see if pulling the center up at all helps. Come on. Okay, so now that we got the corners out, you can see we were able to pull this with the suction cup, and it actually unclipped. You can feel the middle clip. You can hear that. Okay, you can hear now we can actually unclip that. And now we should be able to go from the center to kind of try and bow it this way. It will help with the suction cup. Let's see. So pull that. So that way we're bowing this in, and then we're gonna pull this cover inwards. Okay, that way it flexes in. You can see, there we go. All right, we're getting this piece up. Then we're gonna kind of carefully wiggle this. It looks like the bottom is still clipped in something. Let's try and push on this a little. Jeez, this cover is very difficult to remove. This is the kind where people will just be like, screw it, I don't want to work on this thing. All right, so there we go. We kind of had to wiggle it and it popped out. So there we go. You can see all the little clips in here. There's one here, one here. You got all these clips along the front, and then you got all these clips along the back. So yeah, there you go. Hopefully this video helped you at least get the bottom cover off. That was a pain. And I'm gonna have to clean some of this dust out. But yeah, all right, so here's the inside. I'm gonna clean the dust, and then I'll be back so we can get a nice clean thumbnail. All right, I'll see you guys in a bit. All right, I'm back. So next thing we gotta do is remove the battery. So we're gonna be using the PH1 or JS1 screwdriver again. Battery model number is BN03XL. Actually, we don't even need to take the battery out, and because there's the antenna wire going through it, I'm actually not going to remove the battery itself, but we will disconnect the cable. All right, so you got these two wings, so I just wiggle the connector. Make sure that you're just going on the wings, not on the black part of the connector, the white connector. Okay, and you just keep wiggling, and should eventually be able to pop it out. It's a little bit tough, but just go ahead and do that, and you can see, there we go, it's coming out. Pull that back. Make sure to flex it up slightly that way so you're not damaging or pulling out these wires here. Okay, so there we go. We got the battery out or disconnected. Next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna carefully open up the laptop because the screen's broken. We have to be extra careful here with the hinge. Okay, and now that you have it open, you want to press and hold the power button for at least 15 seconds. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, this helps drain any excess power in the components and makes it a lot safer to work on. Right, a lot of people don't know and skip this step, and if you're messing with the screen, there's a good chance you can actually cause an arc, and it can fry the LCD, the screen, the connector to the board. So just take that extra time, hold the power button down, and yeah, all right, it's only 15 seconds. I held it for extra. All right, anyways, let's go ahead and close this. Okay, we're gonna actually disconnect the LCD connector here, so we'll flip that latch up. And then the connector is here. We're gonna go ahead and disconnect that. We actually don't really need to disconnect this whole thing, but I feel like it might make it easier in this case for this model to work on. So let's go ahead and also disconnect the wireless antennas and then this. Right, so you got some tape here. We're gonna have to peel that out. I will show the other components. If you're just replacing the RAM or the SSD, you don't need to disconnect the battery and stuff. But I'm gonna show it anyways. All right, so anyways, we're gonna hold this little plastic thing up. You can peel that off if you want, but I'm just gonna keep it there. I'm gonna go from the tail and we're gonna pull straight up to pop the antennas out, just like that. All right, so number one, there's a 1 and 2. So 1 is going to the one closer to the hinge, and then 2 is going the one further down here. They do have a number, or the number's written there, but it's under the plastic, so it's kind of hard to read. So anyways, we got that. Okay, next we're gonna flip this latch up, and then we're gonna pull this cable slightly up and back, just like the LCD LVDS. Most likely this one is for the camera. Sometimes it's also for the touchscreen and the microphones. So if for some reason those aren't working, either you didn't connect this cable or you damaged it. All right, anyways, we're gonna carefully peel this up. I'm pulling the cable this way as I peel up, so that way it doesn't just fold and bend itself backwards. Okay, so we're gonna carefully pull that. All right, you got the DC jack charge port connector here. We're not gonna take that out, but it comes out just like the battery. Okay, the way I get the screen out, let me see if I can show this. Give me a second, I'm gonna have to zoom out and see. Hopefully, there's a bunch of stuff all over my desk, so let me see. All right, here we go. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna carefully open the screen to about 90 degrees. Again, since the hinge is broken, we have to be a little extra careful. Okay, now that we got this open, we're gonna flip this over. Okay, and we're gonna hang the screen off the edge of the desk. And since the hinge is broken, we have to make sure to hold that up so it doesn't just fall down. Okay, and now we're gonna undo the hinge screws. Okay, so make sure to, again, keep the screws in order. They actually put X's over the screw holes that aren't supposed to get screws to the hinges. Okay, and those are the ones that go into the bottom cover. So make sure when you put this back together that you keep track and don't put the screws in the wrong place. All right, otherwise once you pop the bottom cover back on, you're gonna have to pop it back off to get to those screws and take them out. All right, so there we go. We got those 4 screws out. Next thing we're gonna do, again, I'm holding it up. You're gonna carefully pull up the whole screen. Oh, the hinge fell out. That's the broken one, and there we go. So here we have the whole screen display assembly mechanism, whatever you want to call it, out. Sorry, I had to get this, that fell on the ground. All right, so here you go, and you can see this has the broken hinge on it, or broken screw. We're gonna take that out, and we're actually gonna just toss that. So usually I'll use some pliers to hold that. Let me see if I can do it without. Okay, no, well, okay, it broke the plastic, and once the plastic breaks, then the screw just falls out. So there we go. Okay, we got the screw out. All right, let me zoom back in a bit, and then we'll take a look at the rest of the computer. Okay, so let's set this aside for now. We'll look at the other components real quick, and then we'll work on replacing the screen. So here it is without the screen attached. Okay, so let's go ahead and zoom out a tiny bit more. There we go. Okay, and a tiny bit more. Okay, so here we go. Again, you have a M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD here. It looks like there's one screw holding this metal thing down. You can lift it up, and then you can take the SSD out. So I'll pop that out and then see if I can show you. There might be, is there more holding this than just that? Okay, no, it's like there's a, it's hooked in there. So you gotta lift this up. Oops, let me zoom in more for you. Okay, so when you lift up the left side, depending which way you're looking at it, then you gotta swing it over to the left. There's also this adhesive here holding it. So actually, let's disconnect the whole RAM connection box here. I'm gonna get underneath a corner with my fingernail and pop it up. You can see, we're gonna get under here, pop it up, go over here, pop this up. If you're messing with this and you're not sure you're gonna be able to keep a hold of this box, you might want to disconnect the battery and do the power drain. All right, so anyways, we got this out. It feels like, okay, this was kind of caught on something, so there we go. Carefully lift this. They do have a thermal pad here, so you do want to peel that up as well. Okay, and you can see they have a little hook here, and then the rest is just, I guess, held in with this, which just sits around the outside edge. There's one screw holding this M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD in, it'll pop up slightly and you can pull it out. I'll show you with one stick of RAM, but basically you would remove a screw, it would pop up like that, and then you would just pull that out, okay? That's how the SSD works, and that's how the RAM works. So this RAM, it's a 4 gig stick, PC4, all right, 3200 AA stick of RAM. You should be able to upgrade with any PC4 3200 AA RAM. If you want, you can put two 16 gig sticks and you can have 32 gigs of RAM. But yeah, depending on your use, most people don't need that much RAM. Usually 8 gigs, 16 gigs is already good, but it really depends how you use the computer. Okay, so then obviously you have two fans, all right? One here, one here. They are different, so if you're buying a fan, make sure you're buying the right one. Okay, so just to make sure you see which way the screw holes are mounted. Okay, if you're replacing a fan, if it's having issues, I also have videos showing how to repair fans if your fan's broken. This kind seems to have the melted plastic on top, which is usually one of the more difficult to replace or repair. Okay, there seems to be a sensor here as well. I'm assuming that's a Hall effect sensor or maybe a NFC thing, I don't know, but there's that little thing there. Okay, what else we got? Keyboard backlight connectors under here, keyboard connectors here. This has a flip latch. Once you flip it up just like these, you can take them out, lift them up slightly and pull them back. Okay, speaker connectors here with the speaker wire running along to the other speaker there. All right, I'm assuming this is the, yep, JTP, so this touchpad, trackpad connector here. You got another speaker connector up here for this speaker. And then you have the DC jack charge port connector here. Again, you can just pull that out. Once you get the hinge out, you can see how wobbly it is. You can pull that thing up, but I'm going to leave that in place. Again, this is the wireless card. Comes out like the SSD and the RAM. There's one screw, pops up slightly, and you can pull it back. All right, under here is the CPU. There's the heatsink, and yeah, if you take this out, it's very important that you clean it off and redo the thermal paste. Otherwise, it's not going to cool properly, and your thing will overheat. Okay, let's go ahead and put the RAM box and the SSD thing back on. All right, so get this lined up. All right, line that all up, click that all down. Oh, the box didn't line up right. Make sure it all lines up right. It didn't line up right. Okay. There we go. We're gonna now rotate this back over. So this has to go over the two sides here. So be careful when you're putting this back. Okay. And this needs to go under that portion where the magnet is. There we go, stick that back down. Okay, and then we have to put that screw back in. What did I do with that screw? I thought it was on here. Give me a second, I need to find that screw and I'll be back. Oops, I'm back. All right, I found the screw. It was stuck to the side of my screwdriver. All right, anyways, let's get this back in. All right. And let's go ahead now and take a look at the screen. All right, give me a second. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look here. So you can see the LCD LVDS cable is popping out. Hopefully the cable isn't damaged. We're gonna go ahead and try and pop this out. So I'm gonna get my fingernails in that gap and then see if we can push down here and pop that. You can see, don't pull too hard. You can see this thing flexes. You don't wanna push really hard and then end up bending the whole thing. Okay, so we're just gonna go here. Just like this, and there we go. Okay, and let's see if the other side, I hope it's not held in with that adhesive stuff because it doesn't seem to, even though we unclipped it all, you see here, it's not just coming out. Okay, this other side, the hinge seems okay, so it does wiggle side to side. Is it supposed to do that? This one doesn't do that. So that means the screw on there is loose. See, this one's tight. So if your little hinge cover is wiggling side to side, there's a screw inside here, and you can see if it's loose, then it does that, okay? You can slide the entire hinge mechanism or the cover off if you take that screw out, and you can actually see the whole hinge there. All right, usually these things are locked into place, so you're usually not able to loosen those. I wouldn't mess with it. There's some people that say, shouldn't I loosen the hinge since it's breaking the screen or whatever? Don't do it, because if you do, your screen is just going to flop over. If you plan to always just use it in tablet mode and then close, then that's probably fine. But if you intend to like hold it upright in like an actual usage, then like a laptop, then yeah, don't loosen the hinge. Even if it's possible, it's gonna just flop over. Okay, and also unless you get some thread locker or something to keep the little bolt from coming more loose, you don't want to do that, because then it's just gonna keep coming loose all the time. All right, so let's see if we can somehow pop these side edges out, because it's not coming out. So let's go from the side here, and that doesn't seem to work. What about the top? I don't think the top will work. The top's too thin. So yeah, I don't actually. Okay, it's popping out. Okay, so I'm pulling from there. You can actually see a gap forming now. And let's see, can we pull the whole thing out of the casing, or does it have those stretch release tabs? It probably has the stretch release tabs, because I'm pulling this up and it's feeling like the side edges don't want to come out. See, so all the clips are released from the top here already, but the corners, they don't want to move at all. And usually that's because there's adhesive going up and down the side. So let's see, I'm gonna try and pull the middle, and while I'm doing that, let's try and pull the side. Nope. Yep, sorry, okay. So we're gonna have to check for the stretch release adhesives, and then see what we can find, if we can pull that out. Because if we can't, I don't know what we're gonna do. Let's see. I see there's a tab of something there. I don't know if that's the stretch release adhesive tab though. I don't know how I'm gonna get in there though to pull that out. Okay, let's see, because we have to also pull this side up, and this side, the hinge is still there and this is not coming out. So I'm gonna rotate the hinge backwards so I have more room. And let's see if I can somehow pull that. There we go. Okay, so now this side, this clip is popping out. Not completely, but it's popping out. And you want to be careful not to pull this too hard, because there's the touchscreen controller board here, back here. I don't know if you can see that. All right, and you don't want to damage this. Okay, I have no other way to pull this any further. So, how am I going to get that out? Okay, so I do see a tab in there, but there's not really much room to reach that, so I don't know if I'll be able to pull it. There's another one in here as well. Okay, so I'm gonna just get my fingers in there, and we're gonna use tweezers. I don't know where my good needle nose pliers went, but we're gonna get in there and see if we can pull that tab somehow. I think I'm gonna need my pliers. Let's see. No, that was just this. That's not a stretch release adhesive tab. So that did nothing. So what is holding this? Is there another tab down there? I see a white tab in there. I don't know if you see that. There's that little white thing in there. Let's see if I can somehow grab that one. Jeez. Can that even be? I can't reach it. Okay, kind of, not really. Okay, get underneath. I'm gonna twist this to grab it like spaghetti, and nope. Yeah, I don't know, that thing doesn't want to come out. I don't think, is that a stretch release adhesive tab? I have no clue. Whatever it is, it doesn't want to come out. So I'm just gonna see if this one can come out with time. Sometimes you just have to keep constant pressure on it and it will slowly release. Again, this screen's already like cracked. The problem is Let's see. Problem is, only the glass is cracked, not the LCD panel itself, although the LCD panel itself might be cracked as well now because of how much force it requires to separate this to even get the release tabs, if they are in there. Are there release tabs in there? I have no clue. The other problem is this cable's here, so let me see, can I remove this? I'm gonna close this up all the way and see if we can, okay, we can pull this cabling out. There we go. So now we can get the hinge all the way back. Oops, make sure to get the cabling, the wireless antennas and that other stuff out of the way. Now we can rotate this all the way back. And yeah, I don't know, this screen does not want to separate. Okay, I do hear adhesive peeling. So, I don't know. I don't know how you would get this out. There's that little white tab. I'm assuming maybe that's also a pull tab, so I don't know. What about this side? I don't see one there. I have no clue. Okay. I don't know. It doesn't want to come out. But there's another one of these. Okay. Maybe it's covering that white pull tab. God, this is not easy. Okay. So I'm going to hold this and I'm going to try and get that other tab out and see if that does anything. Nope, this one just ripped. Oh man, am I screwed now? Let's see, how can I keep this open? I'm gonna use, this tool's not big enough. Yeah, I don't think I quoted enough for this job. I did not think it was going to be this difficult. Okay, so I separated that one. So they both have one of these, and then I think they're on top of a stretch release adhesive tab, but the tab is so far down there. So I don't know how to even get that out, assuming that is a stretch release adhesive tab. Okay, I don't know if you can see that in there. You see that white tab in there? Okay, so I have to somehow get that and pull that. Man, I don't know what happened to my needle nose pliers. That would probably make this doable. Let's see. I'm gonna roll this up onto it. Nope. Yeah, let me see if I can find my needle nose pliers, because I think if that is a stretch release tab, that will make it actually doable. So give me a second, I'll be back. If I can't find it, I guess I'll be back and just try some more. Alright, I'm back. I put it with my other car pry tools. I guess when I put all my tools in my car. Let's see if I can get it though. Okay, so now we can grab hold of the white tab and pull. And yeah, it looks like we can pull on this. So now that we got this tab out, okay, I'm gonna slowly just pull straight down like this. Okay, you wanna pull straight down from the screen, okay, like that. And you want to go slow, be careful, because if you break this tab, your screen is going to be stuck forever. Okay. See how strong this thing is? Jeez. Alright, try and keep it from folding on itself so you can reuse this later. Alright, there we go. There we go. So there is the stretch release adhesive tab. So there's two of these, one on either side. Okay. again, this adhesive, it releases by stretching, so be careful. And also this kind of adhesive, if you don't put it back and you just leave it open to air, it is going to go bad. So keep that in mind if you're planning to leave it out for a long time. Okay, now we have access to this side that opened up. Okay, we should be able to technically pop this whole thing up now. Okay, there's some clips holding this as well. Okay. And wow, it's still holding tight even without the clip, even without the adhesive. Okay, let's try and get the other side out since that's out and we're still struggling. Okay, move these cables out of the way if you can. Pull this all the way back. The thing is that little tab is really far down there, so they really designed it in a way that it's like you need some special tools. I wonder if HP has some different tools that they use for this. Oh no, I don't even see the tab on this side. I'm confused now. I thought it was that, but that's not the tab, is it? Let's see, do I need to use another tool to try and get that out of there? Let's see, what can I use here? I need something pointy. Maybe this small screwdriver here. Is that an adhesive tab? I don't know. It's not moving. I don't know. This side, I can't tell on this side. And my hand's getting hurt now. I'm so confused. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see one on this side. I just see the gray patch. Or is that gray patch actually the tab? I don't know. No, it just sounds like scratchy material. So I don't know where the stretch release adhesive is on that side. I guess let's go ahead and just try and remove the screen carefully, slowly, and hope that it doesn't get destroyed. All right, let's see here. Okay, so got this side up, and it's still, we want to unclick this. For some reason, the screen is separating from the frame. So you gotta make sure that you're unclicking the frame. Come on. Let's go from this side. It's easier to pull this way, I think. Wow, it still doesn't want to come out. Jeez. Okay, let's try from the top. Since we were popping out the top earlier, I'm gonna have to pop it out again because it popped itself back in. Alright. Alright, now we got the top separating here. This corner is like stuck real good. This corner doesn't want to come out. So we took the adhesive out and it's still not wanting to come out. Okay, let's see. Come on, jeez. There we go. Okay, some of these clips are still kind of holding in there, even though we popped them out. What is this? There's a metal portion holding on there. There we go. Okay. This metal portion is still clicked in on the top half for some reason. Sorry, I don't know if I'm even getting everything into view that you need. Okay, yeah, what is this? It's stuck in there. Is that the antenna? Some metal piece is stuck on the top here. I don't know if that's supposed to come out with the entire thing or if it's... Huh. No. Looks like the metal portion below, but it's stuck to this for some reason. Why is it stuck there? What is it's held in with melted plastic. I think this whole metal portion, is that all supposed to come up? Jeez. What'd they do here? That metal tab is separating from the thing. So there's this whole metal thing here. It seems to be stuck. There's more adhesive underneath kind of holding this. It looks like it's supposed to be part of the screen, so let me peel that whole metal plate up, I guess. Jeez. Is there another stretch release adhesive? Okay, so under this portion, there's this tab here. Okay, so this has its own stretch release adhesive tab. Interesting. Okay. Jeez. How many stretch release adhesive tabs do they need here? Okay. So there we go. We got this one out as well. We'll set that aside. This one kind of folded on itself. I don't know if I'll be able to get that little crease. Oh, there we go. Got that crease out. Usually those creases, once it sticks to itself, you're screwed. But, okay, so there's that. Oh no. So now this metal portion's all bent up. We're probably gonna have to just toss that piece out. Okay, so I'm assuming this side has it up there then. So I need to pop this out, which is a pain. Okay, and then once we get that out, we kind of have access to the little thing in there, and that requires a very tiny hook. So I'm going to use this paper clip and see if I can get it with that. Are you serious, HP? What is this design? Okay, so you need a hook to grab this. There's a little hole in it. Jeez, I can't get it with that one. Let's try with my smaller one. Okay. Okay. I guess let's go from this side. Nope, still not working. Probably need a better hook tool. Okay, I'm kind of getting it up. Nope, I need to bend this to hook it a bit better. Let's tilt this more. Okay. So you need a special tool to hook behind that adhesive thing. Damn, I can't even see. Okay, got that. Alright, and now we got that. So we gotta pull this one very slowly and carefully. Okay. Go, grab here, and continue pulling. Okay, as we get closer it becomes easier, but I think this one's gonna fold in on itself. Yeah, this one's all folding in on itself. That's going to be annoying. But there we go. Got that one out. Let's see if we can unfold it. I don't know. Maybe I can try flushing it with isopropyl alcohol and see if I can get it to unstick. You can see how it's all stuck to itself. Okay, that would make it so I can't reuse this. Oh, part of that unstuck. Yeah, let's see if I use some rubbing alcohol on it, if I can unstick this. I have a little spray bottle that I put rubbing alcohol in. Part of it. Okay, let's try unsticking this one that's a lot more stuck together. Because if you can unstick this, you can reuse it, but if you can't, then that's gonna suck. Nope. Yeah, I don't think we can unstick this once it sticks together. So we'll just set this aside and then we'll have to see. I can't separate this. I'll probably have to just cut that portion out so it can sit flat underneath. All right, so we got that out. Let's see if we can separate it. So, okay, there we go. Wait, so why are there two adhesive strips here? See, I ended up ripping that out. So this side was like that. I don't know why there was two separate layers, but I guess this is all part of one screen, so we're gonna replace this. Okay, and here's the actual screen model number if you want it. It's right here, B156HAN09.1. Okay, so I don't know if you can see that, right? B156HAN09.1. Okay, so we'll set this aside. We're most likely going to have to peel that stuff out. We do need to get the hinge onto here. So let's see, if you fold this back over, you can see. All right, I'm wondering why there was one on this side. If maybe somebody took it out before. It's kind of strange. I'm also wondering why this is not sitting down flat now. We're gonna have to flex that to make sure it's flat. Is it hitting something, or is it because it's bent? I'm gonna have to bend it back. As good as we're gonna get it, especially since the hinge broke. Let's see. There we go. Okay, it's sitting flat on my desk. Also, there was a piece of broken plastic that might have been preventing it from sitting flat. Okay, you can see how wobbly this is. So this is usually what ends up causing the hinge to break. So what we need to do is we actually have to add some thread locker there to prevent those screws from coming loose, and then that should hold it stronger, because once these, it's actually both sides are broken, it seems. So once these break, then they completely break. So it looks like the one on the left here is broken, because when I unscrew it, it just keeps spinning. It's not actually coming out, so I'm gonna have to actually just pull that up. You can see the plastic underneath is broken. So I'm gonna I'll reuse two screws, but this middle one, or the last one here, that's the one that usually takes all the force. I'm gonna be using some, sorry, what do you call? JB Weld. Sorry, my brain's like not working properly. All right, anyways, this one's really wobbly, so we're gonna tighten that up. Why is it wobbly? Actually, it's not loose. Okay. Maybe something else is wrong. Okay, no, I can actually tighten it more. So from factory, for some reason, it didn't screw in all the way. It's weird. It's like a very tight fit. It's hard to screw this all the way down. Ow. Okay, there you go. Solid. I'll tighten it a bit more just to be safe. Okay, so we got this hinge that goes here. This one has 2 screw mounts, so it will hold a lot better. But the other side doesn't have that, so let me see. We're gonna have to figure out how we're gonna mount this and keep it in place. This is gonna be a 2-step process, so it's not something I can just have done right away. Okay, so this, I'm gonna hold this and open the hinge to try and keep it flat, and we're gonna hold that down. Okay, so this can actually also go flat, and we're gonna use some JB Weld to hold that down. All right, the problem is, how am I gonna keep this completely flat so it's not filling up extra space? Because when the screws go in, it stays really flat here. So what I need to do, let's see, I need to make sure any loose plastic stuff here is removed. Okay. And we can't put too much of the JB Weld on this one. We're very limited to how much space is in here because of the screen. So let's go ahead and open up the replacement screen to see what it looks like inside, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so let's cut this guy open. Alright, we also have to make sure the screen is correct and matching, because otherwise we need to exchange it and get the right one. Okay, so here's the screen. It doesn't seem to have the same metal frame thing, so let's see. This is a different model screen. Alright, so okay, it actually has the stretch release adhesive here, so they included these. The thing is, these don't have the release tab, so if I put that in, I don't think I'll be able to get that back out. Also, this one doesn't have the HP logo. I don't know if that's gonna bother the customer. I might have to let them know before I do that. See, this one has the HP on the glass, and this one does not. Looks to be pretty much the same other than that. So I'll let the customer know. I guess temporarily I'll snap this one into place. I'm gonna remove this metal piece since we're not gonna be reusing this screen, so there's no point keeping it. Okay, so but yeah, normally you wouldn't have to separate this metal piece. It's part of the screen that holds this into place, and then they use that to stick it down with the adhesive. Okay, but we will have to transfer over the camera, and we will have to transfer over at least this connector. Let me make sure it looks the same on the back. So the digitizer on this one is built in, it's not removable, it looks like. Okay, so yeah, it does seem to all match. Okay, the screen connector, I need to make sure it's the same size, so we'll peel this off. And then we gotta peel this up. There's the LCD LVDS cable model number information if for some reason you need that. I don't know, hopefully it's visible enough. Okay, let's go ahead and peel this away. The model number of this screen is different. It's a NE156FHM-N4X. Okay. Alright, I just want to make sure the connector is the same size, and it looks like it. So we should be okay with the screen. I just need to make sure the customer, if they really want the HP logo, then I don't know, we're going to have to see if I can find one that has that. But most likely that's going to make the repair way more expensive if I can even find that. Or I'm going to have to try and find a used screen. So here you can see the difference. HP, no HP. Okay. But everything else should technically be the same, the resolution, everything like that. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and do the, I guess let's go ahead and, should we separate this first? Nah, I'm gonna leave that there just in case, because I don't want the, what do you call, actually, no, let's remove these cables, because if I leave them in, then I can't just put the screen on top. So we're gonna fix the hinge first. Okay, we'll peel this up. Now that we got that peeled up, we're gonna go ahead and grab the connector, and we're gonna try and pull, I'm using my fingernail to pull the edge of that connector out, and there we go. Okay, so we'll set that aside for now. And then we also have this connector, so I'm gonna use my thumb nail to push sideways as well as up slightly on that connector. You can see it's coming out. You can do the same thing over here, push sideways and up, and there you go. So now we got that out. There's most likely adhesive under here, so be careful. Yep. All right, be careful pinching this. You don't want to damage the thing, so if you crease it too much, it can damage it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it out that way as I'm kind of lifting. Okay, just like this. All right, just like that. And then I'm gonna hold with my thumb here. Oops, sorry if I was out of view. So that way, as I pull this, it's not gonna just rip the whole cable up, okay? You gotta go slow. And there we go, okay? So now that we got the, whole cable up, we gotta pull the camera sensors and stuff out here. Carefully peel this away. There's adhesive holding it. Okay, so there we go. You might have to use some new double-sided adhesive there, and you can actually replace this cable. There's a flip latch here, and then it pulls out from this side, but it is being held in with the adhesives and stuff, so we'll set that aside. Okay, let's go ahead and get to work on putting the JB Weld, and then we're gonna close this up, let it set overnight, and hopefully we should be good to go after that. Okay, I'm gonna have to go grab my scissors real quick. But let's go ahead and get the JB Weld started. Some junk over here. Okay. So JB Weld, if you don't know, is a two-part epoxy. You want to make sure to use the what do you call? You want to make sure to use the. Oh, this is too slippery there. Let me move it somewhere safe. Okay. Two-part epoxy, so you want to make sure to use the kind that's black and white. It comes in a red and black tube. Okay, we shouldn't need too much here because there's not really much extra space for the hinges. So let me zoom out a little bit more. Okay, and then we're gonna put the screws on this side and then this one. Right. Okay, so two-part epoxy. I use this little plastic thing to stir it up on. We got this. We're going to use the white one first. It doesn't really matter which one you put down first. And then I have 3 screwdrivers that help me know which is which. So I use the yellow for the white. Okay, so we need 3 portions of this. 1, 2, 3. That should be enough. Okay, so we're going to use that. It's better to make more than not enough if you don't know what you're doing. So if you're not sure, just make a bunch, and then you could always just throw the rest away. You don't need to use all of it. Okay, this is actually quite a lot more than I need, I'm sure. All right, then we're going to use the blue one for the black. All right. Okay, 1, 2, 3. So you kind of want to make it about even. Hopefully that's about right. The closer you can get to 50-50 match, the stronger it should be. So try not to put too little. Usually the way you know is the color when you stir it together, but if you've never used this stuff before, it's going to be hard to tell. Okay, so I'm just cleaning this off so it's not going to get all over everything. Okay, and then I use the green one to mix it, so because blue and yellow is green, right? Stir this up, and you can see the gray color. this is how I can tell if it's right or not. Okay, stir that up, then we'll scrape this, scrape that, mix that, and stir it all up. Okay, the reason I like to mix on this clear stuff is I can look at the bottom and you can actually see it's not even. So you can go back in, stir it some more. Okay, and it should be, yep, pretty good. Maybe a little bit more. Okay, and there's the color you want. Okay, let's go ahead now and fill in the little broken gaps here. So just get the JB Weld, put it in just like this to fill up the little holes. I like to put a little bit extra so it overflows out, but you don't want to put a crazy amount because the gap here is pretty small, but I want it to go and fill up all these areas around here behind the hinge. Okay, so when you put this on, it's gonna sit there and it's gonna come out all the way over here. So there's like empty areas, pockets, empty holes there, so I like to fill up that area. Okay, so it gets a stronger hold. You can also put some under where this goes. Okay, so over here you can actually also get it and then spread it on here. This will make sure that the JB Weld is making contact with the entire backside of the hinge, and you'll get as strong of a bond as possible. Okay, so we'll take some more and then kind of just spread it all on there. Don't put too much over to the edge. You don't want it to flow into this hinge here. Okay, so all right, get that in just like that. Okay, good. And then make sure to fill up the rest of that gap there. You want to fill it at least to the raised lip of the screw mount, okay? Okay, so now let's see if we set this down. Be careful not to get it onto the little hinge, or not the hinge, what do you call those little clips there, okay? And you can see now it's oozing up out. You can kind of smudge that down a little bit. You want it to come out and over a little bit, and then when we go ahead and put the screen on top, it should ooze the extra completely flat. Okay, so there we go. Get that all in there. Okay. All right, so we got that side. We need to do this side as well. Same thing. Scoop a bunch, fill up that little gap there. We do have excess, but you don't want to put too much in this case because otherwise the screen either will not sit properly or it'll overflow and then you'll be stuck. The screen will get all stuck there. If you want, you can put the JB Weld all around this area to fill in the little holes. Let me see if I can zoom in and show you that. I can't zoom in that far because, yeah, all right, so we're filling up those little holes to strengthen the plastic around it. All right, I don't know why they don't just fill it up to strengthen it. They're trying to be like cheap and save like 2 cents of 1 cent of plastic. I don't know. Either that or those, maybe they feel those lines make it stronger, but I don't think so. Okay, so get that all in there. All right, the chance of the hinge itself being broken is like very, 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 very small. So you might as well just make the hinge permanently stuck in there, okay? So strengthen this all up. Make sure it doesn't come out. If you want, you can put it around there to keep that thing from coming out. Okay. Get the idea. We're just reinforcing all this. Okay, and then if you want, you can do the same thing with this one. You can put some on the back. Okay. The most important part is the part closest to the hinge, because that's what takes all the force. So I'm going to put that there and all over here. Okay, and then we got this. Right, so that's the most important part, all covered. Any remainder, you can put some down there as well. Okay, let me clean up the thing. You can see I got almost a perfect amount that we need. Okay, so now that we got that, we're gonna go ahead and smash this back down on top. All right, and we can go ahead and put the 2 screws back in. I'm gonna add a little bit of the thread locker to make it stronger, as I mentioned earlier. Okay, but now that we also put the JB Weld over there, it should be really strong. Okay, so we'll put a little bit of the red JB Weld, or sorry, not JB Weld, thread locker on there. And then we'll just get that in. Okay, good. Okay, get that screw in. And then the second one, same thing, add a little thread locker. Okay, and we'll get that in as well. Okay, there we go. All right, now that we got that in, make sure to spread this out so it's not piled too high. Can add a little bit more because we have a little left. Fill up that little hole as well. Fill up that other little hole over here. Make sure it's strong. Good. All right, we'll go back over to the left side and use the remaining amount of JB Weld. Okay. A tiny bit left, so why not? Okay. And we'll just stick that here and all over here. Alright, so there's that. Clean this up so you don't end up with a mess that's permanently stuck later. Okay. And then we got to get the screen back on, and first thing I'm going to do is secure, make the screen so it's not going to get excess JB Weld on it. We don't want that to get stuck together. Okay. Set that aside. So you can use just plastic wrap, saran wrap. If you have the really thin like Ziploc bags, if you don't have saran wrap, you can cut up that, like the sandwich kind. But I have that packaging material that they use to like wrap stuff, so I'm going to use this. All right, it's a bit stronger, so I can usually peel this back off afterwards, so that way this material's not stuck in there. Although you can just leave it in there, it's not really a big issue. Let me go grab my scissors and I'll be back. All right, I'm back. So we're just going to cut enough to cover up all the JB weld that we put there. Okay, so we'll cut this. You need to cut it a little bit bigger because when you smush it down, the JB weld will kind of flow out. So we're gonna put it like that. Okay, and then same with the other side. Okay, cut a portion of that. And since I'm going to take this out later, it's okay if we put too much. So there we go. And then this side, same thing. You want it to overlap outside the frame because when it smashes down, you don't want it to get into the stuff, okay? So let's go ahead and put the old screen back on there. Okay. So hopefully the lack of this piece won't affect anything because this side doesn't have that. So anyways, let's go ahead and get this lined up. And if you have these cables in here, you do want to push them in, okay? So I'm gonna have to thread this in. Oh, I should have done this first. All right, let me try and tilt this up. There we go, get that in and get that. Come on, there we go. All right, now we can flatten it back down. Okay. All right, so now we just got to get the screen back on top and then we'll let it sit. This JB weld needs to sit for at least 15 hours to completely set. I would just leave it for 24 hours overnight, okay? What's this? There's little hairs in here. Oh, we'll get them out later. All right, so here we go. Just line this up. And then now that there's no adhesive in here, we could always pop it out later. So just click this all down. Click that down. Click that all down. Oops. Want to make sure this stays in place, obviously. And then click that down. So make sure this hinge is good. And click that in. Come on. Oh, did they damage this when it was? Maybe the clip's broken on this one. Let's see. Make sure this goes in all the way. Okay, there we go. Get it all lined up. All right. So now that that's all lined up and clicked into place, again, we just gotta let this sit overnight. Make sure the spacing of this hinge is correct. You can see the big spacing here. So you wanna make sure the broken one, because you can see even this can kind of still wiggle around a little bit. You wanna make sure that it's lined up correctly, okay? One way you can kind of do that is you can take the base, now that we have this all together, okay? And then you can go ahead and screw this back into place. So let's see if I can do this in camera. All right, so line this up and get this back in. The little charge port connector, make sure this goes on top. So this needs to go on top of one side and underneath the other. So there we go. And now you can go ahead and screw these back in, okay? So get that screw in. I'm gonna loosely fit it first here. Like that. And like that. And tighten it down yet because it's not completely flat onto the surface. Okay, so let's go ahead now and tighten this down. And tighten that down. And tighten this down. And tighten this down. Alright, and what I recommend after that is that you actually close the laptop if you're able to. So what you want to do, make sure to pinch and hold both sides. I like to fold it backwards instead of forwards, so we're going to roll it, so use the desk to help turn the hinges this way and do it this way. And the reason I do that is so that I can make sure this is completely pushed down and it's not doing anything weird. Also, some of the JB weld came up out of this hole here. We're gonna clean that off. Okay. And since we overlaid this thing, it shouldn't affect anything underneath. We should still be able to take this out and You'll see that eventually when we go to put it back together. Okay. This side hinge, you can see it popped out, so make sure it goes all the way in. Okay. Alright, make sure all that stuff is in, and then make sure to wipe off any excess JB weld that's coming out. There we go. Same thing with this side, make sure it's all clipped in, and this side doesn't have any excess JB weld, so we should be good. Alright, make sure everything is flat, flush, looks good. Alright, and then again, we'll let this sit overnight, 24 hours or however long. You can let it sit longer if you want. Make sure everything here is flush, it's not like crooked or anything. Let it sit overnight, and then we will go ahead and pull out the old screen and install the new one. Alright, so that's pretty much it. We'll see you guys when we're ready to pull it apart. Alright, for you it'll be instant. Alright, bye. Alright, have plenty of time to set. Let's go ahead and remove the screen and then peel this out and put in the new screen. Alright, so first we're going to go ahead and pop this thing back out. We didn't put any of the adhesive back, so it should hopefully pop out easily. Okay, just pushing on it like that. You can see this is popping up. Alright, go around the corners. Alright, so now we got that. We should hopefully be able to just pop all of this out. Come on. Come on. There we go. Okay. Back around this side. Same thing. Pull up. Pop it down. Pull this up. And there we go. Okay. So here we go. We got the old screen, the broken old screen out. That aside. Okay. Here you can see the plastic we put there. We're going to take that out now. Okay, and now you can actually test the hinge. Open and close it. You can see. Alright, it's good. The magnets on there are really strong, okay? The other thing, we have to thread the wires through there, so it's probably going to be, will it be easier this way or this way? Okay, we might actually have to take the whole thing out again. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll open it to about 90 degrees. Again, hang this over the edge of the desk. All right, give me a second. I need to go grab my screwdriver real quick. All right, so let's go ahead again and take this back out. 4 screws holding it in place, 2 on each hinge, okay? And then we're gonna go ahead and get the new screen into place. Right, hold it on the last screw. Make sure to hold up the screen thing. Actually, now that the LCD is in it, it's not that. Now that the LCD is not in it, I mean, it's a lot lighter. Okay, so now we can lift this out. Okay, let's go ahead and reassemble the screen. So we'll set this aside. Okay, please put this. Oops. Wow, that thing was sharp. Got caught on my shirt. Okay. Anyways, we got this now. Let's zoom in. Oops. Yeah, okay, around there. Okay, so we got to reassemble the screen here. So we have this piece. I guess, when I zoom in on that, we gotta get this in. Okay, so you have multiple pieces. You have this part that goes into the screen here. So I guess we'll zoom in on that a little bit. Okay, then you just gotta line this up. Might be difficult. My head might get in the way. If it does, I'm sorry. Okay, line that up and then use this to help pull that in. You can also push, I like to push with my fingernail on the edges here. Make sure that's all the way in. And the way you know it's all the way in, you want to make sure that this is as far as possible and doesn't go anymore. Okay, alright. And it might help to kind of, well, usually it's better if I can see it up close, but since I'm trying to record this for you guys, okay, I think that's in all the way. Should be good. So we're going to go ahead and now stick this back down, the adhesive tape. That will prevent it from just falling back out. Okay, if you want, you can use kind of your fingernail to lightly just smooth out the ripples in it. All right. All right, so there we go. we got the camera here that we need to stick back on. So the camera, you need to make sure to line it up, the camera hole, obviously. Okay, and also there's a little peg that sticks up there to help you line that up. Okay, so the LED. Alright, so we'll get this in there, line that up. Okay, that little dimple on this side and this side help line it up. Then you just hold that in place. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and, oops, sorry, we're gonna go ahead and plug this back in down here. So line that up. Okay, and then I like to pinch both parts together, just like that, okay? Instead of just pushing one side down, you want to kind of pinch the whole thing together. Make sure that this isn't going in the way of these little clips and stuff, okay? You can see, get this little wire into this groove to hold that in place. All right, just like that. Then you can go ahead and stick this stuff down, okay? So make sure the camera's, oops, sorry, let me zoom out a little bit here. So make sure the camera's in place. And then while you're doing that, you can go ahead and push this stuff down, okay? All the excess slack, stick that down, and stick that down. All right, then you got this piece. It's gonna come out over here. So let's go ahead now and get this all back into place. Hopefully the wires and everything will stay in place as we go to put this back, okay? So we didn't peel off the protective layer yet, okay? And now we're gonna have to get this in, okay? Temporarily, we're gonna put this in. We're not taking it out yet because it has the adhesive strips here, okay? But we're gonna first test to make sure everything fits. So you might have to twist that into the more closed position. That way you have more access to the gap here, okay? Because again, these antenna wires and stuff need to go in there and come back out. So we're gonna go ahead and get this, slide that in, and then you can push this wire into there, and then push this wire into there, okay? And then we're gonna slowly continue getting this into place. Make sure that you don't crimp or I don't know what you would call it, smash those wires, okay? You don't want to damage those, so make sure the wires are going into place. You can kind of close it more if you want, and then line everything up, okay? Try and get that in. All right, now you have this wire coming out here. You can see this wire, okay, you have coming out there. Tuck that in. All right, if you want, you can like test clip these things into place, but then you will have to get them back out afterwards, okay? But you do want to make sure all the clips and everything fit into place, okay? I'm not going to clip the top because we're going to have to do that later, so let's go ahead and install the screen into place, okay? So we're going to grab this, and then we're gonna have to open the hinges back up to about 90 degrees again. Or what you can do, here we go, is we can now grab this whole thing, okay? We can get this in here. You're gonna have to lift that up, get the hinges into place, and then you can slowly let it go down, but make sure it goes in right, okay? You can see as we now flip it, you're gonna have to close this up as you go, slowly letting it down. Okay, make sure don't just drop it down because then it might hit something and damage it. So we're slowly closing this as we go, okay? Also make sure all these wires are lined up. And there you go, okay? We are gonna have to get that wire out of there. So make sure that you're not smashing the charge port connector here, okay? Get that up, push that in, make sure everything is lining up properly, okay? There we go. All right, and now we have all of that lined back up. We're gonna go ahead and put the screws back in. sure these screws are nice and tight. If you want, you can also add more thread locker, but I worry a little bit again because the plastic on there is kind of weak. Alright, so sometimes if you make it held in too strong, then the screw mount will break and rip out, okay? Then that will be a problem if you need to take it out later. Alright, so there we go. We've got all of that. Let's go ahead and now reconnect these, okay? So you should already know how to do these, but let me zoom in to try and show this. Okay, so we got the wire. Make sure this latch is up. Go ahead and tip it down. Oh, it's kind of hard to do it at this weird angle. I'm trying to show you guys, but there you go. Okay, make sure that goes in all the way. And you do want to kind of lift it up slightly or pull this up slightly and then push it in, okay? And then latch that down. Make sure the wire goes into this little groove here so it's not sticking out on top, and then the chance of it can get damaged if you leave it like that, okay? You got this cable. I don't remember if the wireless antennas were supposed to go underneath or not, but they're on top right now. Let's see. We'll get this underneath here. Since there's the tape, I'm assuming, if I remember correctly, it goes under. Okay, so the wireless antennas in here. Come on. Okay. Get the wireless antennas over there and into place. Okay, then we'll push this wire in and around there. Goes on top. Tape that down. Make sure not to cover up that screw because the screw is going to have to go in there. Oops, sorry, I'm blocking the view. Alright, so get those antenna wires all in and everything. And then make sure this latch is up. Okay, get this cable in there. Okay, goes in an angle, and then latches down. Okay, then latch that down. Right, then we've got the wireless antennas. Sorry if I'm not getting stuff in view. Okay, then we have antenna 1 and 2, right? So the first one goes under this one. Okay, line that up. Okay, you know it's lined up because if you try and like move it, you see it kind of latches, and then once you do that, you just click it down. There we go. We'll stick this down. All right, and then all we got left is to plug it in, power it up, and make sure everything's working. So here's the plug. Once we make sure that's good, then we can remove the adhesive, and then we can start it up normally. So pull the battery connector, pinch the two together. All right, it might not turn on right away because the battery also acts as the CMOS BIOS RTC real-time clock battery. So let's go ahead now, press the power button. I see these lights coming on, so that's a good sign. We'll give it a little bit. It might, again, take a while, so don't panic if it doesn't turn on right away. Just give it some time. It might take a minute or two. So the lights are still on here, okay? The power and the no camera light. All right, and there you go. So now it's popping up the CMOS reset. All right, you just press enter. That will start it up, and then you want to make sure to reset the date and time to make sure the date and time is all correct. Okay, but other than that, you can see HP starting up and it's spinning around. Let me tilt it this way because it might show the username. Sometimes customers don't like me showing that information on my videos. So we'll wait for this, and then we'll take out the adhesive, click everything into place, and we should be good to go. All right, so their computer started up. It's broken. It's showing Monday, December 9th, 7:43, I think AM or PM, I don't know. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead. Oh, yeah, one other thing. Okay, the touchscreen is working, but one other thing you wanna do is to restart once after you install everything, because a lot of times the screen, if there's some slight differences, the thing basically needs to restart for the system files to recognize the new hardware instead of trying to use the old stuff. All right, so there we go. The camera's incorrect. All right, starting up again. Oops, let me tilt this again. And then we're gonna again have to peel out the adhesive thing and then click everything in, put the bottom cover on, and we're good to go. So it's starting up. I'm gonna use just the touch screen to do everything to make sure it's okay. It does behave a little bit slow, but there we go. All right, so it's shutting down now. Okay, now that it's shut down, we can go ahead and flip this backwards. All right, you can see the screen opens and closes just fine now. It's actually still on. It's not completely shut down yet. You can see these lights are on. So we're gonna wait a little bit to finish with the screen. Come on, shut down. It's taking so long. Nothing's on the screen. Oh, okay, there we go. It's completely off. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna flip this up. Let me see how I can show this. We're gonna carefully flip this up, and then the adhesive strip, you're gonna wanna peel those adhesive protective layers off. If you want, you can actually change out to the old adhesive strips, but I left them hanging for like a day or so, so I don't trust them. They might not stick too well. All right, so we're gonna peel this one out as well. And now be careful sticking it down, because if you stick it down and it's not lined up, you're gonna be having some trouble getting it back in the right way. Okay, so let's go ahead and carefully flip this over. Okay, again, hold on to it, don't let it get messed up. Right, we're gonna first get these in. Let me make sure the camera, everything is lined up here. Okay, all right. Okay, so next we're gonna go ahead and clip these bottom portions in again. Okay, we'll check one last time, make sure it turns on. Okay, so we have it in tablet mode. Let's see if it will turn on in tablet mode. Nope, we have to open it up. All right. Oh, I guess we have to open it all the way into laptop mode. Okay, power it on. There we go. Or maybe I just didn't press it hard enough or long enough. I don't know. Anyways, it's starting up again, so we should be okay. All right, so now what I'm going to do, shut this down one more time. Okay, so the pressure isn't being pressed onto the laptop body. I'm going to open it all the way 180 degrees like this, and then again make sure to clip all of this in. This is kind of leaving a weird gap here, but that can't really be changed, so we'll clip in all the top portion just like that, and then work your way down the sides. Okay, then stick that down, push that, and that, and this. All right, most likely this is sticking out because of when the hinge broke. I think it bent this out a little bit, so can't really do anything about that. We'd have to replace the whole entire screen bezel and everything. All right, so there we go. Press down on the sides a bit, make sure the adhesive takes hold. Okay, don't push too hard though, you don't want to crack the new screen. Okay, we're gonna now peel this away. Okay, so there's the old stuff. All right, we're gonna now flip this over completely here. All right, and then we just got to get the bottom cover back on, put this thing back together, put the screws back, and we're good to go. All right, so I'll get this back lined up. Oh, one of the clips are, is that a clip? No, wait, oh yeah, one of the bottom clips are coming out, so we have to take that off. We don't want any loose broken plastic or anything going into the computer. All right, So we're gonna go ahead and get this, and then just try and snap everything back in together. Okay, was this one weird? I don't remember. These clips are super aggressive. So let's see. All right. So I'm gonna have to lift it up probably and then pinch it together. Yep. So lift up, go in between the screen, and I'm pinching. So I'm in between the screen and I'm pinching it to get those clips back in, just like this. Okay. And then the back you can probably just do that way. Yep. All right. There we go. And now we just get all the screws back in and we should be good to go. Again, hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their device as well. And if it helped you save a bunch of money, again, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. If you can't help out that way, it would help a lot if you could watch a few of my other videos and then like and comment on those as well, because that's what the algorithm likes to see. But yeah, other than that, you can continue to watch as I put back all the screws. I'll power it on one last time, but that's pretty much all there is to it. All right. I don't have their password, so I can't log in and double check the camera, but should be good. All right. Again, don't forget there's 2 screws, one hidden under each side here. So make sure you get those in. Okay, and stick that back down. The other one here. And make sure you get underneath the adhesive. Peel up that adhesive and then screw that in. There we go. Good. Try and get the rubber piece lined up. And then the last one was the T5 Torx 5 screw. So let's get that in. And then we'll power it up one last time to make sure. Also, don't forget the little rubber strip up there. Put that back on, obviously. But other than that, that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and get this piece lined back up. Okay, so you want to go ahead and put one edge all the way as close to the edge as you can. Okay, stick down a little portion of it, then go to the other edge and then line that up. Stick that on. Make sure everything looks good, and then work your way towards the center from both sides, okay? You don't want to do it all from one side, otherwise it's going to be uneven, and then all the slack will be on the other side. So there we go. Get rid of those crumbs. All right, and oh yeah, there's also clips in the middle, so make sure you clip those down as well. But there we go. All right, so one last time, let's open it up, power it on. Should be able to see it with the HP spinning around. There you go. And oh, it's gonna log back in right away because it didn't do since I did a shutdown then. Yeah, anyways, that's pretty much it. Again, hopefully it helped. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. All right, let's drop this. Bye.